What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through all the trades that we took throughout the week. We took some swings and we took a lot of day trades when it comes to SPY. So I'm going to go through everything we took and show you guys why we took them, how we took them, and pretty much how I read these charts, because it's very different than what you guys see out there. There's nothing else like this out there when it comes to trading. This is very unique, and you, like I said, you won't find it anywhere else because no one else knows about the strategy. So to start off, obviously we're going to be having a 30-minute chart that we watch every single week, and that kind of gives us the bigger picture. I know this is like reiterating a lot of things that I already talked about in my past videos, but for newer people, we are watching options contracts. We're watching the 30-minute chart on Friday contracts, and then the 0DT charts on the 5-minute every single day. So we kind of use the Friday contracts to give us a point of direction of where we want to trade the 0DT contract. So on Monday here, we had the 655 puts. 30-minute chart was crossed, so this means 10 SMAs above the 50. That's the two SMAs on the chart. We have the Heikin-Ashi candles on this chart, and this is on Thinkorswim. If you're wondering, what platform this is Thinkorswim. This is where I view all my charts at. This is on my phone that I look at them at all throughout the day. So yeah, we got 30-minute chart here, 10 SMAs above the 50 on the put side. So that means the market's turning bearish, and I'm only focused on the short side. So pretty much what I'm looking for is a cross to go long or to go short. So again, this is kind of the setup here. It's the same chart, just 944. This is what we looked like. 10's above the 50 here. That 50 SMA is your major support. Since we crossed, that 50 is a major support level on the put side. So this is the trade we took. So you could see on the 0DT chart now, we got this cross here, 10 went above the 50. This is the 13th. Is this Monday? Yeah, okay, this is Monday. Just checking. So again, we're playing crosses on the 5-minute chart. So this 10 SMA is going above the 50 on the call side, but since this 30-minute chart is crossed over here, 10's above the 50 on the put side, I'm only focused on taking trades to the downside. So this cross, like a call cross, wouldn't be a trade I want to take. And for a cross to be valid, this 50 SMA cannot be sloped down. So this cross right here wouldn't even be a valid cross because the 50 is sloped down right here. It needs to be flat or curling up. And pretty much how I gauge that is these lines in the background. You can see they're completely flat. So it's pretty much when that 50 SMA gets in line with that or curling up, then that's where the cross could be valid. But either way, if this wasn't a trade I'd be taking, since we are sitting at major support here on the 30-minute chart. So what I do want to see is, this chart cross, 10 goes below the 50, and then it crossed back down. So this is called a negative cross. So that means 10 SMA, green line crossing back below the 50, and that's a trade I want to take, because that pretty much tells me that, okay, the 5-minute chart is pretty much for the intraday trend, and since the bulls couldn't get the intraday trend here with the cross and actually see momentum, that they're going to lose this trend, and we're going to pretty much confirm we're going to bounce off of that 50 SMA on the 30-minute, and bears are going to continue with this trend. So this is the short entry I took. I actually played this twice, so I went in light size on this one just because it was a little extended from the SMAs. So price is all the way down here at like 120, SMAs are at like 160, so there's a pretty big gap between where price is and the SMAs. So your risk is a lot higher. So I went lighter size on this, and I actually ended up stopping out because this came right back up on the open. I'm pretty sure either the 1030 candle or the open or the 1035 candle is where I end up closing this, because as you can see, this 10 SMA ended up just sloping right back up, and that's not what I wanted to see, since we were playing the negative cross, because this could easily come back above, close above the 10, the 50, and see a move higher. So I wanted to see from this point on to actually wait for this chart to go negative, because I thought we were going to get it right here with how close the SMAs were, but that wasn't the case. And yeah, this popped back up. I took a small loss, probably for like 15-20 points, and yeah, I was waiting for this chart to actually cross negative, and right here we got it. So 10 SMAs crossing below 50, we got that nice negative cross. I was kind of like, the reason I took this entry was because it's pretty much like, okay, on the next candle open, we're going to get it, but that just never happened. So yeah, that's kind of what happens when you jump the gun early sometimes, but I pretty much wait until I know for certain it's going to happen. It's just very weird how it did end up playing out right here, where the SMAs actually didn't cross. So it happened right here, and this is a really good setup. I was, confidence was through the roof once we got this, because we have this 10 SMA slope down super hard, and then the 50 SMA is also curling down at the same time. So this is a really good trade opportunity, low risk. We're right around that 50 SMA because we use that as our stop loss. So if we get above, if that candle closes above the 50, we'd stop out, and as long as we remain below the 50, we stay in, and we end up getting a nice move out of it. I think this was 100 points in NQ, and that's pretty much what I trade when it comes to these SPY charts. It really depends on the day, but I'm always trading futures. Sometimes I'll take some options along with it. So I'll take some 0DTs, with these crosses that we get along with the futures that I trade. So yeah, that was a really good setup. I mean, 30-minute chart, it tells us that we favor the downside. We look for our short setup, and we got it with this negative cross, and we end up catching a really good move out of it. So the next trade, pretty much, this was a call cross that ended up happening. This was on the 15th. What day was it? So this was on Wednesday. So I don't think there was a trade that happened Tuesday. So on Wednesday, we ended up getting this call cross. I didn't take the entry on this, but it was a trade you could have taken. I forget what the trend. We must have been going neutral at the time of this 50 SMA or this call cross, because I do remember this was a valid trade you could have taken. And again, it's simple. We're just waiting for the 10 SMA go above the 50. I'm gonna try and scroll back and see if I could find what the 30-minute chart actually ended up looking like. I think we were breaking below the 30-minute 50 if I had to guess, and that's kind of what this trade would have given. I mean, we got 10 going above the 50 here on the call side, so that tells you to go long. I'm pretty sure you would have went long on this candle right here. This candle open, you would have went long, and yeah, we got the cross, 50's up, 10's up, really nice move that this provided. So I'm pretty sure that was I know this move gave probably well over 100 points because it was a pretty hefty move we did get. But yeah, again, it's simple. 10 crosses the 50. That's your long entry here on the 0DT chart, and you would have been paid. And it's actually the same day we actually ended up getting a put cross, and we got this 10 going above the 50 here. You wait for the 50 to actually curl up. It never curled up right here, but I didn't have the screenshot at the time. It did, but I'm pretty sure at the open of this candle right here is when the 50 curled. You can see 10 goes above the 50. You wait for the curl. You got the curl, and then look at the move we get. I mean, that's well over 100% on the premium there, and I know NQ was well over 100 points on that trade, and that's something, of course, we took in the Discord and got a good move out of. And it's simple. I know this day was, I think, a neutral day, so you got the call cross, and then you got the call cross there, got the put cross there. Both sides ended up printing for the day, and let me tell you, the last 2 weeks, these crosses have been just netting so many points because the volatility is pretty high, and the moves we've been getting are just really good. So yeah, again, all these trades are pretty much the same thing. We're just playing 10 SMA crossing the 50, whether it's a positive, negative cross. Again, it just depends on the scenario we're in on the 30-minute chart. And again, the 30-minute chart kind of tells us, it paints the picture on what we want to do on the 0DT chart. It's as simple as that. You can't just trade the 0DT charts without the 30-minute. You're not going to do well because you're not going to know the overall bigger picture in the market and the side you want to be focusing on. And these, like I said, this day right here where we got the put cross and the call cross, that day was neutral, which just means that on this 30-minute chart here on the put side, 10 SMA is below the 50. This isn't what the chart looked like, obviously, but I'm just showing you on this 30-minute chart, this 10 SMA was below the 50 on the put side and as well as the call side. So that means the market is neutral. When one of the sides are crossed, like in this screenshot, that means we have trend in the market, and since it's on the put side, that means we are in a bearish trend and our focus is on the short. When neither side are crossed, we just take either side we get a cross on the 0DTs. So we end up getting, luckily both sides that cross on the 15th, and both got printed. So yeah, another really good trade. And then again on the 16th, it's the same thing. 10 SMA crossing the 50 here on the 666 puts. Again, it's funny that the strike was the same for both days, but yeah, 10 SMA crosses the 50. 50 ended up curling up, and we got a very big move out of it. It was pretty much the story of the last 2 weeks. Just wait for the cross to happen, and you would have been paid. I mean, there was so many really good trades throughout the last 2 weeks that we've been killing it. I think we only took 2 small losses when it came to taking these crosses. We went over that one loss. I think we lost 15 points on with that. Where was it? The negative cross right here. And then I think I took a loss. I think there was another loss that happened the previous week. But it was a really good last 2 weeks. And hopefully next week same thing kind of happens. But those were pretty much I'm pretty sure those were every single trade that we took when it came to SPY. I took a few swings, and I do these swings a little bit differently. I use the regular chart, and I'm on the daily time frame for this. So ACHR was a really good setup. I mean, this was a massive move we did get out of it, and pretty much all I was doing was playing this high day break right here on the high for Monday here, October 13th at the 1285 level here. We ended up breaking above it intraday. On the next day, I think on Tuesday, we took this for a swing and got paid. I mean, you could just tell the stock made a large move up. You could see massive volume on this candle, pulls back to the moving average, kind of consolidates, and I'm just waiting for the break at this high right here, and we got the massive move. So go to the 5-minute here. I'm pretty sure I entered this on Tuesday, so that's probably, yeah, that was right around this area. So I ended up entering on the break of the high, or like right under the level. I'm pretty sure I ended up taking it because I saw what was it, a good amount of volume coming in, or it was on one of these other candles. I forget which one. No, it was definitely on this side of the chart. But yeah, we started breaking above the high right here. I got in like right around, I think right at like 1280. I think I got in at like 1280. It was kind of consolidating right below this high, and I got in. It did fail the level, but this is why I don't put my stop right below the level, because a lot of times this will happen where we break above, pull back to the SMAs or EMAs, and see move higher. So what I do, I just put my stop at low a day, and I 100% wouldn't have been holding this though till low a day, because obviously the risk to reward here not ideal. So I probably would have just put I would have had a hard stop on it, probably like 30%, and we pulled back to the moving averages, broke above that high, and we were up like 40-50% here in the close, ended up pulling back a bit, and then you could see the next day, look at the move. This is a 10% or a 9% 5-minute candle on it, and we were up like 220% right here. I pretty much trimmed everything off on this 5-minute, and then I held some runners, and I stopped out on the rest in profit somewhere in this area right here. So ACHR was a very clean setup, and we caught a big move out of it. I think that was my biggest gainer of the week when it came to swings. Another one we took was, I think, SOUND. Got about 100% on this, and it was the same thing. I mean, I think we just played, actually I don't know what, no, this is the wrong ticker. What was it? HOUND, what was it? I forget oh no, SOUN, that's what it was. So it's wrong chart again. SOUN. So all we did, same concept. We ended up breaking this previous day high. We had this kind of resistance level, which you could kind of just see. I mean, we started rejecting this area right here. You could, honestly, the level doesn't matter that much as long as you could just see that area that we're starting to reject from, and we just play the previous day high break. So we got this move higher above these highs right here. We end up getting in on this candle right here, and we broke above, massive volume on the next candle, and it pulled back, broke below the level. Again, I don't use that as my stop though, because a lot of the times you're going to see this where it falls below it, breaks back out, and my stop on this trade was the low a day because there wasn't too much risk on the table. So ended up taking that there, and look at the move we got. I swung this into the next day. We gapped up a little bit right here, and I don't know if we held this into the next day. Probably not, but I know I was up 100% at some point on the next, I think it was the next daily candle. Yeah, so we held it right here, and we ended up gapping up in here, and that's where we're up like 95%. I sold pretty much everything, and on this pullback here, I just got out my runners. So yeah, I think I got out my runners at like 50%. So again, that was another really good trade. And then I took a loss on Oracle. I just like the setup so much. I mean, it was been kind of consolidating in this area for a long time, pulling back, and it was finally starting to break above. And I played this a few times this week. I think I took probably net combined loss of like 30%. I literally played it like 3 times. I was up 70% at one point, but I was looking for these highs to get taken out at 328. Never got it. So unfortunately, I stopped even on that trade. I was up on Thursday, and then, like I said, a couple paper cut losses when it came to my other entries. I think we stopped for like 12%, 10%, and then break even. So yeah, that's pretty much what we did when it came to, I think, the individual names. I don't think I took anything else. Let me pull up this Discord real quick. Oh yeah, JOBY I took a loss on. So yeah, it was pretty much, I mean, the chart looked really good. I mean, it just didn't end up playing out. Pretty much just played this previous day break again, but I entered on this day right here. So on this pullback right here, I got in pretty much at the low of day, and it wicked back up green, and we were up like 25-30%, and I was looking to swing this and take this to over 20 and new highs on this, but obviously you can see what happened. We ended up pulling back on Thursday, ended up closing out, I think, for like 20%, and that was that. So we couldn't hold above that previous day high, started break below this low a day right here, so that was pretty much my stop loss if we got back below that low. So yeah, that was a loser we took on JOBY, but you guys can see my losses are very small. Oracle, very small losses. JOBY, very small loss. And then ACHR, 200%. And then, SOUN, 95, 100%. I mean, that's how you kind of have to manage those swings when you're taking these to, be net green in the long run. Make sure you're holding your winners and, limiting your losses. That's pretty much what we did when it came to swings and our SPY day trades. I mean, if you guys want to learn, make sure you guys join the Discord. I'm in there every day, all day, and obviously I'm posting all these trades. The premium Discord, if you guys want to join, follow along and learn, throughout the day. That's where I'm at. Or, if you don't want to pay, obviously, you have all these videos on YouTube you could watch. I have so many videos. There's no reason for you not to be able to learn, because I have so many. I mean, if you watch every single one of them, you will 100% know exactly how I trade. So, that's pretty much all I got. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub, join the Discord if you want to learn. I'm out. Peace.